is very dangerous. And in that respect, that's, I think, the main thing that has to be done, don't you think? I mean, just trying to step back a little and alert people to the big, where we're going. We're partway down a slope. We should scream and yell, because we already have come down that slope. And it's wrong. It's bad to do that. But also, this is where we're going if we don't put up the brakes. Now, who's the we in that sense, though?
Well, the we is the people who asked for this. I mean, this is, I'm sorry, his approval numbers are incredibly robust for the actual day-to-day goings-on of what is happening in America right now, for the economic reality, for the interest rates, for the high, I no longer think there's any way to look at Donald Trump and come up with a happy answer that is basically, they didn't mean this. They just were angry about fill in the blank. They were angry about Hillary's emails. They were angry about inflation. They were angry about interest rates and mortgage payments and whatnot. I find it very, very hard 8 years in with him doing now exactly what he said and still having a very robust approval rating. Like, people wanted this. Not everyone, but some very significant percentage of the American population, this is affirmatively what they want and prefer. And I say this to Sarah all the time. It doesn't have to be everybody. If you get to 35% of the country who wants this, who wants tanks in the streets, who wants the Marines and National Guard deployed against American civilians, like, I don't know what a country is supposed to do about that. That's too big a critical mass in order to sustain this experiment, I think.
Especially if let's say 30%, just to make it simple, and then 45% approval now. So let's say 30% want it, 15% don't care enough don't object enough to it to, have them break from him just because they're Republican. They want the tax cuts, or they care about other issues. But if that 15% won't break, if they really don't care about any of this, then it is 45%. And then, as you say, then you're really in a very bad situation. And maybe you win the House. And I don't know. There's so much hope in liberal circles among our friends that winning the House is going to make a huge difference. And I've tried to think concretely, well, why actually is it going to make a huge difference? I mean, we're not talking about legislation or anything. They'll have oversight hearings. Trump's not going to, the administration just won't show up, or they'll show up and stiff arm them.
Exactly.
I mean, the degree to which people are sort of I guess it would come back to a point you've made many times and you were way ahead of the curve on, and I think some of us, the rest of us at the Bulwark were too, to some degree, is people it's very hard to come to grips with what's happening. It's very hard not to want to revert to politics as normal and start to think about it as if it's 1994 cycle, the 2006 cycle, or whatever, and here are the obstacles. And if only the Democrats were a little more moderate in some of their rhetoric and didn't say this, and some of the Harvard students had behaved better, he wouldn't be trying to destroy Harvard University. And I'm sort of beyond that in that respect. Obviously, one should criticize the Harvard students for doing things that are stupid and wrong, and I'm happy to, but that's not. We're way beyond that. Especially
not
the immigrants.
In a good way.
Especially the immigrants. The Harvard students are, entitled and mostly well-off, kids with great futures, and they should behave better. The idea that he's getting these immigrants who are showing up. Where is he picking them up? As Miller had told them when they came to the White House, Miller yelled at them, "You're not arresting enough people. You can't just arrest, certified criminals. You got to go to the 7-Elevens and the Home Depots and arrest them in the parking lots where they're waiting for their day shifts, their day labor." And that's, in fact, as I understand it, in Los Angeles and its environs, in Paramount. That's where the actual big arrests were, and actually where some of the disturbances began, because those are some of those heavily Hispanic areas. Paramount is 80% Hispanic, I think. So, Americans don't find that repulsive, that these people are working and paying taxes, mostly probably, and in any case, working hard and doing their best, and they're being treated in this way. I don't know. I guess the immigration thing, for some reason, gets at me more in a way, even more because of because they do have some of the law on their side. Obviously, these people are undocumented, some of them and many of them and so forth. But I don't know, it's just the kind of stupidity and cruelty. And there, I do think the nativism that's so strong that we've seen so much in the reaction to that. That's something I underestimated. Didn't you? I don't know. Did we think that America was full of people who really hated and resented and were willing, these people who were here and who weren't bothering them? If anything, the only encounters people had with them was when they came and helped, build the house next door, right? And maybe they had some encounter that was less pleasant. I don't mean to say that's impossible, but and did we know that? I didn't know. I didn't understand that there was so much nativism to be tapped and exploited.
I mean, it took me a while to find that out, but I would say that I figured that out before yesterday. One of the hallmarks of the Republican Party has been people in Alabama whose children go to like the most conservative public school in the world getting upset that some community in San Francisco runs their school differently, right? This is, like what do you care, Cletus, down in bumblefuck Alabama? What do you care if a bunch of hippies want to rename their kids' school and teach whatever, right? And but that's the animating principle of the right at this point. It's that somebody somewhere is doing something I don't like, and I'm going to stop them because I have the power now.
Fair enough, but we shouldn't go on to let people go, but I would just say this is a little different because this isn't someone somewhere doing something I don't like. This is people whose color I don't like or whose national origin I don't like, who literally are doing nothing that affects me. They're not taking my job. They're not taking a place at Harvard from a place of my kid or whatever, all these excuses, They're living somewhere where they're helping to, working in restaurants or building houses or something. In these cases, that's not all immigrants, of course. And I am sort of happy to see ICE agents showing up in masks and arresting them and humiliating them. That part I find worse than it's stupid to dislike a school system 1,000 miles away, and stupid to and there's a kind of weird psychological thing of I don't want them doing that. Okay, it's a kind of bullying, it's a kind of overreach, you might say. It doesn't understand how a free society works, decentralized society. But the immigrant stuff, the cruelty of the attitude towards the immigrants is I feel like it's greater.
That's an excellent point. All right, guys. I don't know what to tell you.
Most depressing
hit subscribe.
Bulwark podcast ever, or maybe,
Yeah, it's I would just say this. I'm going to write an emergency newsletter tonight, and I'm going to get it out because I want people to be thinking about this when they wake up on Monday. This is, I believe, one of the more dangerous weeks in American history. And there are a lot of things coming together in ways that are helpful to Trump and helpful to his project. And buckle up. All right, Bill, thanks for coming out. Follow the feed. We will try to all get through this together somehow. Good luck, America.